I would like to call the regular meeting of the Twinsburg Board of Education to order. It is Wednesday, May 17th, and it is 7 o'clock. Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Curtis?
Here.
Mr. Solera?
Here.
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Felber?
Here.
Mrs. Terrell Waldron?
Here.
Okay, we're all here. Would you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any agenda items, addendums to make or changes to the agenda? Okay, so hearing none, we'll move on to the President's report. Good evening and welcome, community, staff, and administration. I'm Mark Curtis, and it is my privilege to be your board president. We're at a point in time where the school year is winding down. Another State of the Schools address is in the books, prom is over, and graduation is right around the corner. Where did the time go? Much has been accomplished this year, and although the school year is nearing an end, there's still much work to do. Our superintendent testified again in Columbus on House Bill 49 on behalf of our school district last week. I was also asked to testify before the House Government Accountability and Oversight Committee and did so this morning in support of House Bill 87, which is sponsored by our state representative Christina Rogner. Recall that this is legislation that I've collaborated extensively on with Representative Rogner, the Ohio Department of Education, as well as the State Auditor's Office. If enacted, the law would require monies paid to charter schools be returned to the districts of origin due to a finding of recovery. Currently, these funds are returned to the state's general fund. However, given the disparity of what we receive in state foundation dollars, which is approximately $1,200, and what is deducted, which is $6,500 approximately, and sent to charter schools, this legislation ensures that our tax dollars are effectively deployed and meeting the needs of our students. Collectively, our efforts are ongoing and will continue. I will also continue to keep you abreast as things move forward. As always, we ask that the community reach out to our elected officials and ask that they continue to be a voice as the biennial budget continues to move through the legislative process. Finally, most meetings begin with student recognitions. However, tonight's meeting is designated to recognize the accomplishments and retirement of our staff. During the superintendent's State of the Schools address, there were many highlights of staff achievements, and tonight it'll be a continuation of our acknowledgement and appreciation for all that you do. Make no mistake, the success of our district cannot happen without you. So without further ado, I will turn the meeting over to our superintendent, Mrs. Powers.
Good evening, Mr. Curtis, Board of Education. Good evening, everyone. This is my favorite board meeting of the whole year. Hard at the same time because tonight we also recognize our class of 2017 as far as our retirees go. And it's hard to say goodbye, and we hope that our retirees remain part of our family and visit us often and share great memories with us. But we have so many things to celebrate. As Mr. Curtis indicated, our State of the Schools address provided to the Chamber of Commerce last week could have gone on for more than an hour. I had to keep it to 30 minutes because we have such a fantastic school district and such fantastic kids to celebrate, and that all happens because of a fantastic amount of support from our parents and a very dedicated staff. So lots and lots to celebrate here at the end of the year, and so we'll get started here in a moment. As Mr. Curtis indicated, our class of 2017 enjoyed a lovely prom last Friday night, and our after prom was once again hosted by our parents. I want to thank Mayor Alonzo for our use of the Reminderville Athletic Club, a great facility. Our students had a fantastic time, and we do appreciate that extra something that they can do after prom so that they're safe and can enjoy some great companionship with their friends. I also want to thank Senior Class Advisor Brittany Hartori. She pulled all of the details together. Mrs. Tringo and I were just talking on Monday what a wonderful event that was for our students, and it's because we have staff here that really pay attention to the kids and make it all happen. Also, I want to thank Mrs. Brennan for her work as the senior counselor. So right now she's probably thinking in her brain, I have this and this and this and this to do. She's here with us this evening. But thank you so very much, Tanya, for all of your efforts in getting our kids across that stage just in a couple days here. On Monday, May 22nd, we are going to be celebrating a baccalaureate, and that's not a school district event. That's thanks to our friends at the Twinsburg Ministerial Association. So families who would like to begin a week of celebration are invited to attend with our students on Monday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. at Cosmas and Damian Church right here on Route 14. And we also appreciate Father Michael for opening his doors to his parish once again for this wonderful celebration. The class of 2017 will commence at E.J. Thomas Hall on Tuesday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. and that is located on the campus of the University of Akron. And we want to thank Mrs. Donna Houston, who is our graduation advisor, for all the details that she is pulling together now this last week, and it will be a great, great time. New this year, on Monday, I think afternoon, right before lunch, actually the students will report on Monday for a graduation practice. Once they have their practice of the actual commencement activities, we are going to do for the first time a graduation march through our 3 elementary schools. So high school graduates who are interested in putting on their caps and gowns, Mrs. Taringo and her staff will escort them using our yellow school buses. So thanks to Mr. Brunton and Ms. Abbott for lining that up, and they will be able to walk the halls of our elementary schools one last time, and I think our little ones will be giving them high fives, and I think there probably won't be a dry eye as far as our staff goes. So that is Monday, is it Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday morning after graduation practice. So we look forward to another new tradition starting here in our school district. I want to thank all of our students. We have had a little army of kids behind the scenes now already starting our effort for our Fill-A-Bag, Feed a Family event that will happen this coming summer in July. Those of you who are family who have been in town now for 3 years know that we have this need in our community over the summer months where we have families that are food insecure. And so thanks to our partnership with the Emergency Assistance Center and with St. Cosmas and Damian Church and an organization called Food to Share, we will be hosting or co-hosting the 3rd annual Fill-A-Bag, Feed a Family event. And the reason I did a shout out for our students is because over at the middle school and also at Dodge, the students are actually helping to roll 10,000 bags. And I know Mr. Reese is putting this as part of his field day event, so the kids have to come inside, roll several bags, and then run out the door and do something else. And over at Dodge, the students have this activity built into their Unity Day activities at the intermediate school. So we thank our kids for being hands-on, being part of this effort to give back to our community. And if you are interested, we do have information on the website. The exact dates are the bag deliveries will be on Sunday, July 9th, and then on Saturday, July 15th, we will need an army of people to canvass our 3 communities to pick up the bags filled with groceries from very generous residents. And those groceries will be taken between the Emergency Assistance Center and St. Cosmas and Damian Food Pantry. And families who are insecure this summer will have a place to go for nutritious food. So we thank everyone for their participation in advance of that event. Something exciting is happening tomorrow, and the excitement is that tomorrow is the Special Olympics. For the first time in probably 20 years, Nordonia High School is hosting Special Olympics, and we are sending, I believe, 3 busfuls of students who will be competing tomorrow over at Nordonia. So we wish our Special Olympians all the best, and we thank our teachers and Mrs. Traphagen and Ms. Price for pulling together all the exciting events. We know our kids are going to do well, and more than that, it just builds a great sense of teamwork, and it's just an accomplishment for the children to be able to participate in the Special Olympics. So, and we also want to thank our friends at the Nordonia City School District for hosting this year's Special Olympics. Also, speaking of pretty fast kids, if you're paying attention to what's going on across the street tonight, we have the Suburban League track meet for our middle schoolers, and I also know that our varsity Tigers, who are our track and field students, as well as our baseball team, continues here near the end of the spring sports season. One of my favorite things is to spend the first weekend in June at the Ohio State University, because we usually have kids compete at the OHSAA tournament. So I look forward to doing that again, because we have had great success with our kids, and I want to thank our community for supporting our students all year long, not only in athletics, but in the arts and all that we do here in our school district. Monday, May 29th, I don't think I have to tell the kids, this is Memorial Day, and the reason I don't have to tell them is because their last day of school, but it precedes that on Friday, May 26th, and so our staff will have their last day on Tuesday, May 30th. It has been such a fast year, and the end of the year there are just events after events after events, and it's all about celebrating our staff like this evening. It's about celebrating our students, and it's about thanking our parents, our community for all of the great support that they've provided this whole entire school year. So I know, Mr. Curtis, you have a lot to celebrate with me. Before we get to the Blue Ribbon School celebration, I have the great honor of working with a fantastic treasurer. Marty is one of the very best in the state, really does take care of the business of the numbers here. And I think I drive him buggers, because I'm usually in his office asking him, how about this, can we do this, can we do that? And of course it's always back to, well, where are you going to find the funds, can we move money, la la la. So I appreciate that he makes sure that I stay along the line here, and I know the board appreciates that we do that as well. This evening we have a very special visitor who is here from the State Auditor's Office, and Marty, would you like to introduce her?
Thanks. Lindsay's here from the State Auditor's Office.
Well, as he mentioned, I am from the State Auditor's Office on behalf of Dave Yost. My name is Lindsay Kuhn-Blair, and Mrs. Superintendent, you did kind of take a lot of the wind out of my sails in what I was going to say about Marty being such an incredible treasurer. What's really interesting in the audit process, and for those of you that don't know, we audit about 5,900 government entities each year. And I would say about maybe less than 5% actually even qualify for the award that your treasurer has attained. And it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about crunching with the budget. There's so much more involved in terms of compliance. And just as you had mentioned, it's so wonderful that you have the connection and that relationship between the two of you, because that is how you do attain this type of award. Because as I said, only 5% actually qualify, but even less receive this award. We do have an AOS award, but this is actually the Auditor of State Award with distinction. And what that means, and I'll read just the juicy parts of the letter from the great auditor. What this means is that you did have a clean audit report. It didn't contain findings for recovery, material citations, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, or questionable costs. And again, that comes down to everything, not just the numbers, but compliance. And there's just so much on the daily basis that we all don't even think about might be in the treasurer's wheelhouse that is in fact something that comes back on his shoulders. So, sir, I just want to say thank you so much for being an excellent steward of taxpayer dollars, and we so appreciate all that you do. Thank you so much.
Speech. Thank you.
Well, we want to thank Ms. Kuhn-Blair for representing Auditor Yost this evening. Thank you for driving over to Twinsburg and for commending Mr. Aho. Again, it is a mark of his work that we continue to do so very well with managing the efficiencies of our school district, and working closely with Marty. I know how difficult a job that is, how many stresses there is with school funding and trying to keep up with school funding. The models keep changing, and we have to keep shifting as an organization. But the fact that the Auditor of State is recognizing you, Marty, for this is significant, not just the first time. And that really is a mark of the excellent work that you do here. So thank you on behalf of our school district.
Thank you.
And then next, excuse me, is commendation for the Blue Ribbon Schools Committee. And I'll preface before introducing people. The Blue Ribbon Schools Committee is really instrumental in a lot of ways in terms of the campaign that's put together to pass either renewal levies or new money levies, which most recently issue 15 passed successfully. But it doesn't happen without the Blue Ribbon Committee and the people behind it. So there are a number of really important people that did a lot, either on the ground or mailing things, getting lists, distributing signs, working the polls. I'm probably missing some of the things, but fundraisers, all of that stuff has to happen, and it has to happen in a coordinated way. And so a lot of the individuals that we wanted to recognize, we're going to do that this evening in a formal way. I know that there are many meetings that we have spoken very positively of our appreciation and thanks as a board, but we'd be remiss if we didn't invite them here to these chambers and do it in an official way. That being said, the surrounding communities are just as important as the committee. Making sure that we get support from the mayors of those respective committees or council persons is vital. And when asked for the support through those committees, there was no hesitation. And so in the audience right now, representing the village of Reminderville is Mayor Sam Alonzo. I want to thank you. You invited me and the superintendent to your chambers to request the support of the school levy. You gave us an opportunity to make remarks with respect to why it was necessary to do so, and I know I thanked you then, and I thank you now. It's truly appreciated, and we got the full support of the village, and the votes also indicated that your residents felt the same way. So without you standing behind us and providing support, it would not have been possible. So I want to invite you, if you will, to make some remarks, if you would, in support of, passing the levy. Thank you so much for your support.
Actually, I should, can you, everybody hear? I should thank you for your stewardship of making sure our children have the knowledge that they need to go on further. And I know that I'd said when you were here, or when you were at my place, I truly believe that the kids nowadays are starting to vote with their feet. And what I mean by that is there's nowhere for them to come back to. So the programs you're starting, the programs with the mentoring, the young people, and putting them into your program. What's it called? The Academy at Twinsburg. When you start doing things like that, it shows that the students have a place to come back home to, and maybe they will quit voting with their feet. I use mine as I have 3 daughters that went to Roar, and I got a stepson and stepdaughter go to Twinsburg. And my 3 daughters voted with their feet. They went to Ohio State. One of them went to Ohio State, and they stayed at Columbus. There's a lot to offer. I get it. One went to California. She's staying in California. I got one that's still got hope because she had a boyfriend. So we'll see if she stays. But with that, again, I thank you for everything that you've done because our housing, everything relies on it. You go look at places like Brady Lake that just voted to ban themselves as a village. You go to some of the outlying Cleveland areas, and without the school systems, you see what happens. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. I also want to mention Council President Thomas DiCarlo, Walt Kauffman, who actually is here. He's also a member of the Blue Ribbon Committee, so he'll be coming up. Rodney Wiggins, Councilman, Ernie Petrovic, Councilman, Mark Kondick, councilman, and Mark Silverstein, councilman. They were all in chambers, and we had full support, so we really appreciate that. The Twinsburg Township also very instrumental in doing a lot of legwork in making things go for the levy. Jamie DeFabio is a trustee, and he was also a member of the Blue Ribbon Committee, but along with his fellow trustees, James Below and Tom Schmidt, they were unable to be here tonight because, ironically, their meeting is also this evening. So their meetings are on Wednesday, and so they overlap. And so, unfortunately, I thought this meeting was more important, but they disagreed with me. So, but again, we want to make sure that we express our sincere appreciation for them stepping up and also drafting resolutions in support of issue 15 and rolling up their sleeves and getting the word out in the Twinsburg Township as well. So I want to make sure that that's on the record, that we truly appreciate their support and stepping up to the plate. Last but not least is the Blue Ribbon Committee, committee and co-chairs. Would you, well, let me read the code. So Walt Hoffman.
Did you want to read the names, Mr. Salura, as he was part of the committee, and maybe you want to offer the certificates?
Yeah.
Be awesome.
Okay. Oh, you're going to read the names? Sure. Okay. Sure.
Here, man.
We'll start with the committee co-chairpersons, Mr. Walt Hoffman from the Village of Reminderville.
Make them stand there like the kids do with their certificates. Hold your certificate up. Don't cover your face. That's what Belinda said.
Mrs. Jennifer Wilson, representing the city of Twinsburg. Mr. Jamie DeFabio, Twinsburg Township. Treasurer, Mr. Brian Cook. Public relations person, Mrs. Patty Coslow. And on top of that, we had a bunch of different committees to help run the campaign, and those were filled with volunteers, chairpersons. So we'd like to recognize those today as well, because that was a ton of work organizing the different door-to-door campaigns, fundraisers, letters to the editors, all those things. So the door-to-door committee co-chairpersons, Ms. Belinda McKinney and Ms. Lynn Villa. Chairperson of the Letters to the Editor Committee, Mrs. Audrey Holtzman. Fundraising Committee co-chairs, Louise Torigno and Chad Welker. Voter Registration Committee co-chairs, Denise Traffigan and Reggie Holland.
Come on, Belinda, hold your certificate.
School Events Committee co-chairs, Jim Reese and Marion Wright. Poll Workers Committee co-chairs, Joy Schroeder and Tina Magier. Yard Sign Committee co-chairs, Jillian Carter and Carla McMahon. Absentee ballot co-chairs, Michael King and Sue Vasilowskis.
So please give these lovely individuals another round of applause. Thank you so much. I was going to make Louise say, so who did you bring today? I won't do that. Thank you so much.
I got you.
Board of Education, this evening we have a number of outstanding teachers to recommend to you for the purpose of continuing contracts. As you may or may not know, to be recommended for a continuing contract is a significant part of being an educator, and it's an event that teachers work very hard for, and they are dedicated to the work, the craft of being an educators. And when we start the process back in September, asking teachers if they were going to consider requesting the designation of a continuing contract employee, it is a year of great planning, great observations, and really exemplifying what it means to be a teacher in the Twinsburg City School District. So this evening, Mrs. McKinney is going to assist me as we introduce to you the teachers that we're going to recommend later in the agenda for continuing contracts. Just to say a few more things about it, teachers must have enthusiasm and caring and just really be about the business of educating our young ones, from our preschool teachers all the way straight through to those teachers who work at our high school, who work in post-secondary options, our College Credit Plus teachers, to have a command of the curriculum. And the curriculum today has changed in so many ways. It is so different than the experience that any of us had in classrooms when we were students. And to remain current with their knowledge and to be able to bring curriculum alive in our classrooms, that's the mark of an excellent teacher. And so this evening we have a nice number of teachers who are going to be recommended for continuing contracts. We'd like to introduce each of them to you this evening, tell you a little bit about who they are, tell them a little bit about their philosophy of teaching. And I would like to ask our building administrators, the 5 building principals, to please come forward to receive our continuing contract recommended individuals as they come forward, and shaking hands and such. Mrs. McKinney and I are going to split the narrative this evening, talking about a little bit about each of these fantastic educators. And you know, really, we are very proud of our staff, but when you rise to the level of being considered for a continuing contract, that just says something special about you, that you're really committed to the craft of being an excellent teacher. And you know, in the world of a Board of Education, this is a promise to the Board of Education to you that they believe in what you do every day, and that they are committed to you as a classroom teacher because they understand the importance that you play in the development of the lives of our kids. So this is a significant point in your career, being recommended for continuing contract status. So to begin, I'd like to introduce everyone to Mr. Ryan Bonnets. When asked why Mr. Bonnets became a teacher, he said, "I became a teacher because of my desire and belief to help others and because music is an essential part of humanity." When asked to share some of his favorite classroom memories, Mr. Bonnet says that there are so many to choose from. His trips to New York City and Walt Disney World with our students are some of his very favorite memories of all time. And also, while not in the classroom, he very much enjoys watching our band seniors graduate and start the next step in their lives. This week we had the great occasion to be invited, Mrs. Stringo and I were invited to the band banquet, and it was just so much fun to watch these seniors get ready to fly from the nest and how mature they have become. My favorite part of being a part of the school district is to watch the kids over spans of years, and as we watched the freshman students in the band present, and then you saw the seniors present, and how much they've matured in 4 years. That's a mark of Mr. Bonnets' touch to what they do every day at Twinsburg High School in his band classroom. Mr. Bonnets believes that the three most important qualities of a successful teacher include a dedication to his students' success, being professional, and the desire to be a lifelong learner himself. And when asked, how do you know your students just get it, that you love teaching, he said, hopefully through his daily interactions with him, his excitement for the material he teaches, and how he reacts to their successes. And then in his spare time, Mr. Bonnets enjoys spending time with his close friends and his family, his lovely wife, who's also a band director for Mogador High School, so we have an opportunity to cross paths every now and then. He's an lapsed avid reader, so it sounds like something you might want to be doing this summer. He enjoys running, and he has recently taken up photography as a hobby. So very proud of you, Mr. Bonnets. Congratulations.
Tanya Brennan. Go ahead. When asked why she became a counselor, she said she became a counselor to help guide students to be as successful as they could be. She wants to help them reach their highest potential and plan for their future. She enjoys working with students in a holistic setting, encompassing all aspects of their life, academic, personal, and social. As a counselor, it's hard to pinpoint her favorite memory specifically, she says, but two events that she really enjoys are freshman orientation and graduation. I love to see the freshmen experience their first high school memories through orientation, when they are bright-eyed and excited, yet nervous and overwhelmed. I then love to see them grow over their 4 years of high school and get to graduation. I enjoy seeing them walk the stage proud and happy, looking forward to their future. The three qualities of a successful counselor are the ability to be flexible, to be passionate about your students' success, and to have a positive outlook. Her students know that she loves to be a counselor because she loves her job, because of the care and compassion that she puts into their success. They can see that I genuinely care about them. No matter what the situation is, I'm willing to help them in the best way that I can to be successful. I also try to create a positive environment with events to showcase their success. In her spare time, she enjoys doing a variety of activities, such as traveling, spending time with family and friends, shopping, staying active through boxing and sports. She's a huge sports fan and loves all the Cleveland sports teams. She was a college athlete and enjoys still playing both indoor and sand doubles volleyball. She also runs a personal business that she enjoys. When asked, is there anything else she'd like to add, she stated she looks forward to a long career in the Twinsburg City School District. Congratulations, Tanya Brennan.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Amanda Bush. When asked why Amanda became a teacher, she indicated that she wanted to help children find confidence and motivation to achieve goals and dreams. Some of her favorite classroom memories actually include events that are happening now in her 5th grade classroom. And those include the Wax Museum, which is always one of her favorite 5th grade traditions, and she enjoys watching her students' projects come to life. Amanda believes that the three most important qualities of a successful teacher include positivity, flexibility, and a passion to do what is best for each student. And Ms. Bush's students know that she loves to be a teacher because she tries to go above and beyond each day to make lessons creative and memorable, along with adding some technology skills too. In her spare time, Ms. Bush enjoys spending time with her husband, her daughter, and her family, and going to the beach and just plain being outdoors. And when asked if there's anything else she'd like us to include in her introduction, Mrs. Bush said that she's just very proud of the Twinsburg City School Districts, and she's proud of being an educator here. She truly enjoys the teaching profession and being a part of her students' lives and sharing in their accomplishments. Congratulations, Amanda.
Kristen DeHill. When asked why she became a teacher, Kristen said, "I knew that I wanted to be a teacher at a young age. I would play school as a child with my dolls and then with the children I babysat as a teenager. For my senior internship, I had the opportunity to shadow a third grade class and loved every second of it. When it was time for college, there was no hesitation what career I wanted to pursue. For favorite classroom memories, I love teaching my students made-up songs, chants, cheers to learn different skills and concepts. It is such a rewarding feeling watching my students quietly recite the songs in their heads when taking an assessment." What she considers to be the three most important qualities of a successful teacher are passionate, build strong rapport with students, and set high expectations. Her students know that she loves to teach, she says, because they recognize the excitement and passion she has for them and for learning when they walk into her classroom. "I try to do as much as I can to make learning engaging and help students be motivated to show what they can do. In her spare time, she enjoys spending every second of her spare time with her 4-month-old son, William, her husband, and family." Congratulations, Kristen.
Next, we'd like to introduce Jenny Farrell. When asked why she became a teacher, Ms. Farrell said she loves kids and she wants to encourage curiosity and enjoyment in learning. She wanted to be a teacher since she was in the 4th grade herself. And one of her favorite classroom memories is just being able to see families interact with one another. So she especially loves field trips, and Ms. Farrell is one of our preschool fantastic teachers. She absolutely loves the preschool rodeo every year, which is quite the event. When asked three most important qualities of a successful teacher, she replied being patient, having empathy and understanding for children and for parents, and having self-reflection of her own teaching. And when asked, how do your preschoolers know that you love teaching? She said that she sees her smile, they see her smile, and they get enthusiastic during learning and during playtime too. And in her spare time, Ms. Farrell loves to be outside hiking and playing with her twins, so she's working in the right place. Thank you for all that you do, Ms. Farrell.
Shannon Foskett. When asked why she became a teacher, Shannon said, "I became a teacher to help excite young women, in particular, in the science fields." A favorite classroom memory for Mrs. Foskett is she loves any aha moment in lab when a student is able to put content and application together. She loves those light bulb moments of understanding. The three most important qualities of a successful teacher are patience, creativity, and knowledge of content. When asked how her students know that she loves to teach, Mrs. Foskett said, "My students know I love teaching because every day I try to deliver interesting content with a smile and a joke. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her family, watching baseball and gardening." When asked if she would like to add anything else to this introduction, she wanted to add that she's also an advisor for the Academic Challenge Program. Congratulations, Shannon.
Next, I'd like to introduce kindergarten teacher Elise Hanna. When asked why she became a teacher, Miss Hannah answered that she knows she wanted to be a teacher the moment her first grade teacher taught her, a scared, overactive, overanxious child, to truly love learning and love coming to school every day. Her first grade teacher showed her the impact that a teacher can have on the life of a child, instilling in her a passion for making a positive impact in the lives of children while carrying on the legacy of the great teachers who made her who she is today. A favorite classroom memory for Miss Hannah includes watching a struggling student who entered kindergarten with very little skills grow into a reader and develop self-confidence. Three most important qualities, according to Ms. Hannah, of a great, successful teacher include empathy with students' families and colleagues, resilience and perseverance even on the hardest of days, and being a lifelong learner. I love this answer. When Ms. Hannah was asked, how do you know your students know that you love to teach? She said, well, she asked her students that question. How do you know I love to teach? And remember, she's a kindergarten teacher, so these are her responses. So the kids said, you are kind and caring to us. You teach us to read. You keep us safe. You spend a lot of time with us. And you love us. And in her spare time, Ms. Hannah enjoys gardening, especially fairy gardens, and cooking. And asked if there was anything else she wanted to add. She responded, she would like me to include the fact that she's grateful to teach in such a wonderful district and such a wonderful community. Congratulations to Elise Hannah.
Reginald Holland. When asked why he became a teacher, Mr. Holland says, I have always wanted to be a teacher and had a calling to support students. There is no more important profession than teaching. We build the foundation on which all other careers are set. A favorite classroom memory. Some of the most memorable events over the last 2 years were when I saw a student working successful in an area that they previously had struggled in. The three most important qualities of a successful teacher are: 1, building relationships with students and families; 2, being student-centered; 3, respecting the educational process. When asked how his students know that he loves to teach, he says, I think the students see my enthusiasm for school and kids. In his spare time, he enjoys listening to music and exercising. And when asked if there was anything else he'd like to include in his introduction, he responded, I am so proud to be part of the Tiger Proud family. Congratulations, Reggie.
I'd like to introduce Assistant Principal Wanda Huggins. When Mrs. Huggins was asked why she became a teacher, she responded, as a young student growing up in the inner city of Cleveland, I was deeply inspired by some great teachers. Their support and faith in me inspired me to want to do the same for others. Their commitment and compassion to help me understand that my potential far outweighed my circumstances changed my course in life. It is her belief that this is the most important work we do as educators each and every day. For this reason, Ms. Huggins enjoys her role in each of her students' lives. When asked what she believes to be the three most successful, important qualities of a teacher, Ms. Huggins answered, dedication. Teaching requires a great deal of dedication and perseverance. Passion. The job of a teacher requires that you have a passion for teaching and learning. This passion is what keeps a teacher thriving to do what is best for kids every day. Passion helps keep a teacher being an advocate for his or her students. And thirdly, creativity. A teacher must be able to creatively design lessons that will engage students in the learning process. When asked why she thinks the kids know that she loves to teach and to be an educator, Ms. Huggins answered that she hopes that her students know that she loves what she does for them through her interactions with them every day. She believes that children are very perceptive, and she hopes they know that she deeply cares about them, about their safety, as well as about them as individuals all the time. In her spare time, Ms. Huggins enjoys listening to music, crafting, putting together jigsaw puzzles, and spending time with her family. And asked if there's anything else she wanted to add, Mrs. Huggins responded, "My favorite superhero is Wonder Woman. I have a collection of Wonder Woman dolls along with other dolls I collect." I didn't know that. Congratulations to Miss Wanda Huggins.
Nancy Kauffman. When asked why she became a teacher, Mrs. Kauffman responded, "I became a teacher because I realized that was a gift God gave me. I greatly enjoy finding new ways to reach children, both academically, socially, and emotionally." A favorite classroom memory: she had a particular self-contained class, and she loved teaching the students about chemical reactions using vinegar and baking soda. The students, who were multi-handicapped, were engaged and fascinated by the reaction. They were able to recall the two chemicals and point to the visual that explained the type of reaction. The three most important qualities of a successful teacher, according to Mrs. Kauffman, are patience, flexibility, and the drive to continue to grow. When asked how our students know that she loves to teach, she responded, "My enthusiasm, creativity, my desire to incorporate their interests, and the time I take to listen to them." What do you enjoy doing in your spare time? In her spare time, she enjoys hiking, camping, reading, and her word, toting my kids around to their various extracurricular events. When asked if there was anything else she'd like to share, she said, "Thank you for considering me for tenure here at Twinsburg City School District." Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to introduce one of our fantastic third grade teachers from Samuel Bissell Elementary School, Elizabeth Kinsella. When Mrs. Kinsella was asked why she became a teacher, she said she has a passion for teaching which originated from her own kindergarten teacher when she was a child. This particular teacher was patient and caring, but also made every student feel like they were a part of something bigger. One of her favorite classroom memories occurred when studying rocks and minerals. The students used starbursts and pulled them apart to make sedentary rocks, apply heat and pressure for metamorphic rock, and finally heat them up for igneous rock. Boy, I have to go back to your classroom there. And the kids just get so very excited by the hands-on activities in her science class. And what do you consider to be the three most important qualities of a successful teacher? Mrs. Kinsella answered, "A successful teacher needs to be patient, collaborative, and have high expectations for success." When asked how does she know that her students love it to be in her class and how they know she loves to teach, Ms. Kinsella says she is excited to greet her students every morning, and throughout each day of learning, her students know she loves to teach because she considers her classroom a team. Positivity breeds success in Mrs. Kinsella's classroom. In her spare time, Mrs. Kinsella loves running, practicing taekwondo with her family, and creating new projects for her students. And when asked if there was anything additionally she would like us to add, she said, here's a funny tidbit. She had a student get nervous when she heard Mrs. Kinsella say that she needed to use the laminator. When she asked the student what was wrong, the student replied, "Do lambs really come out of it?" Once it was explained, she realized what the laminator really did, and the student was quite relieved. So the lesson learned for the teacher is never take anything for granted. Congratulations to Mrs. Kinsella.
Cheryl Kozak, photography teacher, Twinsburg High School. When asked why she became a teacher, Ms. Kozak responded, "I became a teacher to share my love of art and to inspire youth." A favorite classroom memory is having a student translate their handwriting that they couldn't even read and creating a new word for Webster's dictionary. The word was S-P-O-U-E. Spoo. All right. Okay then. One of the three most important qualities of a successful teacher, according to Ms. Kozak, are passion for the subject, patience, and understanding. In her spare time, she enjoys working on her house and spending time with her dog. Congratulations, Cheryl Kozak.
Next, I'd like to introduce one of our fantastic Wilcox Primary School teachers, Miss Eleanor Linick. When asked why she became a teacher, Mrs. Linick said she was interested in becoming a teacher after she graduated from college. However, she had a job lined up and decided to stay with that career. Years later, while volunteering in her son and daughter's classrooms, she really felt teaching was something she should pursue. So with the encouragement of Judy Lattin, who is another one of our fantastic teachers over at Dodge, as well as some of the teachers that she knew, she went back to school, and 10 years later, here she is. A favorite classroom memory for Mrs. Linick includes when the students decided to throw her a surprise birthday party, and it was a special teacher party. They had the help of 2 lunch aides. The kids did it all secretly, and it was quite a surprise in her classroom. And the 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher per Mrs. Linick include a successful teacher is one that is open-minded, flexible, and willing to listen and to really know the kids. And in her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her husband and 3 children, vacationing, playing, and watching movies. And she also loves to scrapbook and read. And the last question, how do your students know you love to teach? She answered, they talk about what they like and don't like about learning. And she tells them stories about herself, and she tries to incorporate crafts into her classroom activities. Congratulations to Mrs. Linick.
Christopher Moneke, science teacher, Twinsburg High School. When asked why he became a teacher, Mr. Moneke said, my father encouraged me to get into education. He was a high school science teacher as well and really wanted me to get into a rewarding, challenging career. A favorite classroom memory is any time a student returns and reflects on our time together, I appreciate it. Oftentimes when they walk out for the last time, it's hard to know how they turned out. The 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher are patience, content knowledge, and work ethic. And work ethic that doesn't quit. When asked how his students know that he loves to teach, he says, I've been told it's how energetic I am while teaching, even at 7:15 a.m. in the morning. In his spare time, he enjoys spending time with his family. Congratulations, Mr. Moneke.
Next, I'd like to introduce one of our academic coaches at R.B. Chamberlain Middle School, Mrs. Anna Pavkov. When asked why she became a teacher, Mrs. Pavkov answered that she became a teacher to help students reach their potential and to find the joy in learning. One of her favorite classroom memories includes watching her students become engaged in a debate about a topic they were passionate about. Mrs. Pavkov believes that the 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher include empathy, creativity, flexibility, and passion. I think that's 4. That's okay. And then how do her students know that she loves to teach? Mrs. Pavkov answered, because I take an interest in them and I'm excited with them and they're so successful, and success again breeds success. In her spare time, Mrs. Pavkov enjoys spending time with her family and doing activities outdoors. And when asked if there was anything else she wanted me to add this evening, she said she's just so very grateful to work for such a great district with wonderful students, supportive community members, and dedicated colleagues. Congratulations to Mrs. Pavkov.
Debbie Pelka, math teacher, Dodge Intermediate School. When asked why she became a teacher, Ms. Pelka stated, I always loved learning and going to school, so I wanted to share my love of learning with students. The three most important qualities of a successful teacher are being flexible, being creative, and being organized. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, playing games, cornhole, cards, and board games with family and friends, bike riding, walking and hiking through the park. She also wanted us to include in her introduction that she's been married for 27 years and she has 2 sons. Her oldest son graduated from Ohio State University and her youngest son is attending Tri-C and KSU. And she also wanted us to know that she went zip lining with her family and would like to do that again. Congratulations, Deb.
Our next teacher is kindergarten reading intervention teacher, Mrs. Sarah Peril. In addition to being an outstanding teacher, Sarah is also a graduate. She graduated in 2003 from Twinsburg High School, so we're super proud of Sarah. And when asked why she became a teacher, Mrs. Peril answered she enjoys working with children and connecting with them, and she feels she can make a difference for each and every one of the children in her class. A favorite classroom memory includes when a student realizes that they are reading and they are proud of themselves. And the 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher from Mrs. Peril's vantage point include being lifelong learners, knowing students and truly caring for them, and being flexible in your classroom. And when asked how do your students know that you love to teach, she says when they see her and they see her having passion for what she's doing, and the fact that she takes the time to listen to the children and she makes them feel important. It's also when her class time goes faster than expected because the kids are truly engaged in the learning going on in her room. And in her spare time, Mrs. Peril enjoys spending time with her family and friends, and she loves going to the beach. And any final words? And she added that she feels that she can collaborate well with her colleagues here, and she thinks it is a pleasure and a privilege to work for the Twinsburg City School District. Congratulations to Sarah Peril.
Lisa Roberto, English Language Arts Academic Coach, Twinsburg High School. When asked why she became a teacher, Mrs. Roberto responded, I love working with kids. I love to see that spark when they first understand something new, and then see them apply what they learned in new situations. A favorite classroom memory for her is working with a low-motivated senior who one day announced, I'm done. We worked together to set future goals. We broke down what he needed to do to finish the school year, graduate, and apply to Tri-C. He met all of his goals and walked across the stage at graduation. The 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher are you have to have a love of learning, a strong understanding of the content that you're teaching, and a sense of humor. Her students know that she loves to teach because they trust me enough to ask me questions and regularly refer their friends to me for help. In her spare time, she enjoys going for walks in Liberty Park, reading about reading and writing, and keeping up with The Walking Dead. Congratulations, Lisa.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dominique Sanders. Once again, not only is Mr. Sanders an excellent educator, he's also a fine graduate from Twinsburg High School, having graduated in 2008. When Dominique asked why he became a teacher, he answered, well, my mother was a PE teacher before me and before she became a principal, and she always talked about how much she loved it. And he said he also became a teacher because he believes in giving back. Favorite classroom memory includes a student who wrote Mr. Sanders a letter prior to class telling him that he changed his outlook on not just school, but also in life. When asked what are the 3 most important qualities of a teacher, Mr. Sanders answered establishing relationships, organization, and creativity classroom management. And how do students know that Mr. Sanders loves to teach? Well, he answered, "I'm always excited and ready to go. I often ask for our students' input on activities that they love to do, and he believes that his students and he are just one big family." In his spare time, Mr. Sanders enjoys working out, relaxing with his dog, and spending time with his family. Congratulations to Dominique Sanders.
Deanna Sarka, math academic coach, R.B. Chamberlain Middle School. When asked why she became a teacher, Ms. Sarka responded, "To have a genuine impact on the world." A favorite classroom memory is her first year of teaching back in 2003. I asked the student why he behaved so well for me, but lost his mind elsewhere. And he responded with, "You love me." Those 3 words have shaped her entire career. The 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher: number 1, an understanding that kids are kids and the patience to allow them to be. Number 2, compassion. Number 3, a true love of learning. When asked how our students know that you love to teach, she stated, "They know I love to teach because of the excitement I bring to the class each day. I love my kids and I love what I do. I make sure they know that." In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her family, cooking and reading. When asked if there was anything else she would like to include in this introduction, she said yes. And she wanted us to let you know that she lives in the district and is grateful to be a part of the community, both personally and professionally. Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to introduce math academic coach from Twinsburg High School, Abby Teal. When Mrs. Teal was asked why did she become a teacher, she responded, "To help students grow into well-rounded, independent thinkers who know that they have a purpose." A favorite classroom memory of Mrs. Teal occurs anytime a student comes down to her classroom to show her their latest test grade or a problem that was difficult, but they eventually worked out. The pride on her students' faces makes all the work worth it. And asked Mrs. Teal what are the 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher, she responded, number 1, well actually she has 4, so I guess there's a little thing going on here with 4 instead of 3, but 4, number 1 is flexible, fair, friendly, and firm. These came back from a book that she read early on about teachers needing to be like palm trees, and it stuck with her. And when I asked her, how do your students know that you love to teach? She said because she works to help them learn, and she helps to learn each of their stories, and she knows them personally, and she tries to make math fun, especially for students who are hesitant in learning the skill of math. And in her spare time, Mrs. Teal enjoys playing outside with her 3 beautiful girls and finding new places to travel. Congratulations to Mrs. Teal.
Elizabeth Teeter, English teacher, Twinsburg High School. When asked why she became a teacher, Mrs. Teeter replied, "I was inspired by my 12th grade English teacher to become a teacher myself. Her love of literature and approach to learning had a very positive impact on me as a student and teacher." A favorite classroom memory is reading The Crucible this year. That was a fun experience. I had one class really get into their assigned parts. Their use of accents and enthusiasm made a play set in Puritan times very fun. The 3 most important qualities of a successful teacher are flexibility, knowledge of content, and a sense of humor. How do your students know that you love to teach? I still get excited about The Great Gatsby after reading it countless times. I begin each unit by telling my students that it is my favorite to teach. I am excited about the 140 research papers I'm getting this Thursday. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her family. outdoors, and reading, of course. Congratulations, Ms. Teeter.
And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Tom Thome. When Mr. Thome was asked why he became a teacher, he answered, "I always wanted to work with young adults in the classroom and in athletics. I get great enjoyment when students gain knowledge and become better critical thinkers while examining history." A favorite classroom memory for Mr. Thome is when his students believe in themselves and get the best performance when they do that. 3 important qualities per Mr. Thome include teachers who are genuine, teachers who are compassionate, and those who are flexible. And when asked, how do you know your students know that you love to teach them, he answered, "I come to Twinsburg High School every day with an enthusiasm and passion to work with the young adults and build a rapport that they know I care deeply for them and for their academic excellence." In his spare time, Mr. Thome has a passion for Cleveland sports, country music, sorry, do-it-yourself projects around his house, and he loves spending time just hanging out with his family. And when asked if there's anything else he wanted to add, Mr. Thome indicated that he's just very grateful and appreciative of the opportunity to work in a great community such as the Twinsburg City School District. Congratulations to Mr. Tom Thome. You know, Board of Education, I remembered 4 years ago for most of these teachers, we boarded a school bus on their first day here, and we took them for a tour of our school community. And for many of the teachers that are here, it was the first opportunity for them to get a taste of the Twinsburg City School District. Fast forward 3 or 4 years, and they have now become assimilated into our culture, and they are the Twinsburg City School District. So I'm very proud this evening, Board of Education, to recommend these fantastic, outstanding educators for continuing contracts for the year 2017. Thank you. Thank you, teachers. You may be seated. Board of Education, next to celebrate will be our class of 2017 retirees. And what I thought I would ask the Board of Education to please come forward. We have a commemorative bell for each of our retiring staff members. Retirees, when you are recognized by Mrs. McKinney or me, if you'd please come forward. The Board of Education is here to congratulate you on your years of dedicated service to our students and our school community. And one of the board members will hand you a commemorative bell. And if we ask if you please remain forward here so that we can get a nice picture of everyone once we're all together up front.
Sharon Berry. Mrs. Berry has worked for the Twinsburg City School District for 14 years as an instructional assistant at Samuel Bissell Elementary School. Before coming to Bissell, Mrs. Berry worked as a legal secretary at a few different law firms for approximately 26 years. Mrs. Berry's favorite memory is running into students who attend RBC, THS, and even college, and they remember her from working with them at Bissell. She will definitely miss working and helping students, seeing their smiling faces, and receiving their hugs. She will also miss the Bissell family. Mrs. Berry's future plans are to definitely downsize her life and hopefully work with students in some capacity. She is hopeful for grandchildren in the near future. Not sure if her daughter knows that, but congratulations, Sharon Berry.
Next, we'd like to recognize Judy Velamisis. Judy has worked for our school district for 16 years, and before that she worked 20 years at Refco CVS Advertising in their advertising department. Her favorite memory from her time in our school district, believe this is or not, is the class of 2017, because she said it has been just such great fun seeing them grow into wonderful young adults ready to take flight into the next part of their lives. One of the things that she's going to miss the most from her time here in the district happens to be the friendships that she has developed over the many years. And her plans for the future include working in her flower garden and visiting her grandchildren in Columbus. Congratulations to Judy.
Maria Dillon. Maria Dillon has worked almost 18 years for the Twinsburg City School District. She owned Here It Is Beauty Shop in Macedonia until her son was born, and then she sold the shop. Before that, she worked at Kohl's for 7 years, right before coming to the high school in her role as janitor. Her favorite memory from her time in Twinsburg City School District is the show choir invitational. What she will miss most when she retires is all the nice people she's met over the years. Her plans for the future are enjoying her 2 grandchildren and spending time with her husband. Congratulations, Maria.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Cathy Paviva. Mrs. Paviva started subbing for Mrs. Marlowe at Dodge and then full-time at R.B. Chamberlain Middle School the fall of 1998 when they reopened the school, and she's worked there ever since as one of our staff members. Mrs. Paviva's favorite memories were the kids and when they would come through our lines with their craziness or just a hello and a smile. She had some rough days too, like when the oven motor smoked us out. However, she had great fun doing selfies with the firemen, and of course then she had to clean it up. But she just enjoyed that experience and was always part of the team over at the middle school. Mrs. Paviva will miss the ladies she worked with over the years, as they all have been through so much together, sharing their family issues, good or bad, and giving each other their views about the world. And it was an important opportunity just to meet a lot of wonderful people in her time here at R.B. Chamberlain. And her plans for the future, she said she is now retired and she's just enjoying herself, and every day is an adventure. She's taking it one by one, day by day, enjoying her time with her family and friends. Congratulations to Cathy Paviva.
Helen Younglis. Helen Younglis worked for the Twinsburg City School District for 18 years at Twinsburg High School. Prior to that, she worked 12 years at another company. Her favorite memory from her time in Twinsburg, in the Twinsburg City School District, is the kids. She will miss the kids, and she has some very fond memories with the kids. What you will miss most once you retire, she said, getting up at 5 a.m. every day. And her plans for the future is to take some time off and then do some working, but not a lot. Congratulations, Helen Younglis.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Lee Jefferies. Mr. Jefferies is one of our fantastic janitors at Twinsburg High School. He's worked here for 18 and a half years, and before that he worked at Circle K for 24 years. When asked what his favorite memory is from his time here in our district, he said it was when our girls basketball team won the states, and that was a fantastic time at our high school. When asked what he will miss the most once he retires, one word, kids. He just loves being part of all that happens at Twinsburg High School on any given evening. And his plans for the future, Lee said he's going to get some work done at home, he's going to travel, and he's going to camp. Congratulations, and thank you so very much, Lee.
Marty Ryan. Marty Ryan worked for the Twinsburg City School District for 18 and a half years. He ended his career as the head custodian at Twinsburg High School. Before joining the Twinsburg City School District, Marty Ryan worked for the Federal Reserve Bank for approximately 19 years as custodian. Now that he is retired, Marty is enjoying spending time with his family, so much so that he was unable to be here tonight. Congratulations, Marty.
Next, we'd like to introduce Mrs. Susan Orth. Mrs. Orth has been here for 19 plus years as a cleaner at the Twinsburg High School. And if you count on the years before that as a sub, it's been more than 19. Her husband was in the Air Force for 20 years, and she worked on base cleaning various government buildings. And finally, at her last base, she cleaned base housing for final inspections. A favorite memory of the Twinsburg High School family per Mrs. Orth is when her own children went to school here, and they played in various sports, and she really just enjoyed going to the games and going to the track meets and the soccer ball games too, and she just had a great time. What will she miss most when she retires? She says being able to help various areas in the school, just cleaning, finding lost items, and returning them to kids and the adults, etc. Most of all the people she's worked for have been all the very best, especially those in the bee pod and the kitchen, and she's going to really miss each and every one of them. And her plans for success, I love it, she says, it's grandma time. Congratulations to Sue.
Maureen Waldeck. Ms. Waldeck has worked for the Twinsburg City School District for 19 and a half years in the cafeteria. Her favorite memory is working with colleagues and playing jokes on them. She loves serving students and hearing their honest feedback. For example, "Are you okay? You seem a little down today." Ms. Waldeck will miss the people and all the friendships and relationships she has developed over the years. Mrs. Waldeck looks forward to traveling, visiting her kids who live out of state, spending time with her grandchildren, and volunteering. Ms. Waldeck shared that it has been a pleasure working at Bissell, and Bissell is the best. Congratulations, Ms. Waldeck.
Next, I'd like to introduce Liz Eaton. Mrs. Eaton has worked for the Twinsburg City School District for 20 years in our cafeterias. She has too many favorite memories to choose one, but all the little things that the kids say really make her day. For example, "You look so pretty with your hair up." Mrs. Eaton will miss the people and all the friendships and relationships she has developed over the years. Her plans for the future are to travel to Hawaii, spend time with her grandchildren, and volunteer at the Akron Zoo. Mrs. Eaton shared that she loved working at Samuel Bissell Elementary School. Congratulations to Liz.
Heath Holiday. Heath Holiday has been with the Twinsburg City School Districts for 21 and a half years, first as a bus driver and then as a mechanic. One of his favorite memories is working at Twins Days. He will miss the people and seeing everyone once he retires. His plans for next year is to be self-employed, and then he can set his own hours and set his own time. Congratulations, Keith Holiday.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Ann Allard. Mrs. Allard has worked for our school district for 22 wonderful years, plus her children went to all of our schools, so she has been here for more than 30 years actually. She started in the kitchen at the high school and then had the same job at Bissell, and then when a preschool aide position opened, she became available at Wilcox Primary School. She applied for it and she got it. Before she got married, Mrs. Allard worked at the Case Western Reserve Dental School for 2 years. That's an interesting fact. Her favorite memory from her time in the school district, Mrs. Allard replied, "My favorite memory is how friendly and supportive everyone is here. The children make me smile every day. Those are the special memories she will take with her forever." And what she's going to miss most about our school district when she retires, Mrs. Allard said, "The people and the kids. It's like I have had grandchildren for 20 years.
Aww.
And her plans for the future, Mrs. Allard said that Mr. Allard is also retiring, so they are both available to do whatever comes up. That sounds fantastic. They have friends in Canada, and they have a new grandchild in Arizona, so they'll be probably doing a lot of traveling, volunteering, and working in their garden. Congratulations to Ann Allard.
Nancy Wolf. Nancy Wolf started out on the sub list. Then she found out that her daughter needed braces and wondered, how the heck are we going to pay for this? Subbing seemed like a good way to earn extra money and still be around when my kids got home from school. I found myself in the best job ever when I was eventually hired full-time as a cook at Dodge and stayed for 25 years until I retired in January. Her favorite memory from her time in the Twinsburg City School District, she didn't answer. Oh, it was what will you miss the most once you retire? It was a great ride, and I have such fond memories of the children and all who I've worked with over the years. These are such hard-working women who aren't given enough credit for all that they have to do every day. I wish them all well and miss the fun we had over the years, like when the power went out and we served the kids using flashlights. When asked what her plans for the future are, Nancy says, every day is now a snow day. And I spend my time doing whatever I feel like doing. My children live in Austin, Texas, and Chicago, Illinois, so I have great places to visit. Her parting comment, or last comment is, thank you, Twinsburg City Schools, for a memorable 25 years and my daughter's straight teeth. Congratulations, Nancy.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Linda Unticelli. Mrs. Unticelli has worked for our district for 28 years. She spent the first 7 years as a playground aide and a bus aide. From there, she was hired as an instructional assistant at Bissell. Including her time as a playground aide, she stayed at Bissell for 23 years before coming to and ending her career at Dodge. Because of Linda's long career at Twinsburg and her active involvement in the VFW, it's believed that Linda knows practically everybody in Northeast Ohio, or at least in Twinsburg. Favorite memories for Mrs. Unticelli, she says that one of her favorite memories is of lunch on the lawn at Bissell. Years ago, when the students had lunch on the lawn, the staff would hire a reggae band that would come in and play on the grass for the students and their families. She enjoyed watching all the students who would get up and dance and have a really good time. What will she miss most when she retires? Linda says the kids. She just loves seeing them. They make her feel like a rock star. In fact, one of the students invited her to come to the 6th grade luncheon at Dodge this year, and she plans to be there. And her plans for the future, I just love this. She says that she wants to spend more time with her 8 grandchildren, 5 boys and 3 girls. She and her husband bottle their own wine. Her husband has 2 gold medals and a number of bronze medals for his winemaking at the World Amateur Winemaking Championship. So Mrs. Unticelli plans for the future include helping her husband become the best winemaker, possibly by being the official taster. So congratulations.
Kathleen Reppel. Cathy Reppel. Cathy Reppel spent 29 years with the Twinsburg City School District. She said she responds also, thank you for the wonderful memories. Her favorite memory from her time in Twinsburg, she said there's so many wonderful memories throughout the years. Every day was an adventure. I will always remember the students, parents, and staff. What she'll miss most once she retires, I will miss the Twinsburg City Schools family, the support of staff and administration. Her plans for the future include spending more time with family and traveling. Congratulations, Cathy Reppel.
Next, I'd like to introduce Lisa Seidel. Mrs. Seidel is finishing up her 29th year here in our school district, and she has close to 35 years in education because she subbed for the first years. She worked as a teacher's aide and as a lifeguard, and she taught swimming lessons for the city of Wadsworth prior to becoming a teacher. Favorite memories for Mrs. Seidel include that there really isn't any one favorite memory. It's the same great memory at the start of each school year. She just loves meeting the children and seeing their excitement as they start school for the very first time. And when asked what will you miss the most, Mrs. Seidel said she's going to miss all the adult relationships that she has developed over the years and talking to everyone. She'll miss all the people she currently sees every day. She'll miss the children, of course, but her plan is to substitute next year, so she'll have the opportunity to be with the children once again. And she thinks she will just miss all of her great work friends most of all. And plans for the future, Mrs. Seidel said she's going to travel with her husband. She's looking forward to having the flexibility to travel when she wants to. And she has a lot of friends and friends who live out of state, so they're planning to travel many places and visit many places anywhere they want to go. So congratulations to Mrs. Lisa Seidel.
Val Salazinski. Val Salazinski has worked for the Twinsburg City School District for 30 years. She subbed the first entire year that she worked in Twinsburg. She was also a Twinsburg parent for 6 years, so she's been around quite a while. She started over at the old school from 1986 to 1992 and then moved to Wilcox. After high school and during college, she lived in Michigan and worked for the S.S. Kresge Corporation in their Kmart division as a layout artist. She also worked at Higbee's as an accountant. Her favorite memory from her time in Twinsburg is that the whole staff is her family because she didn't have any family living in this area. They took good care of her when she lost her husband, and she also remembers all the fun field trips she went on with the students. What she will miss most once she retires is the staff, because they are her extended family. In terms of her plans for the future, she is going to be doing a lot of traveling this summer. First, she will be going to her brother's farm for cherry picking, and then she'll be going to the Siesta Key with her daughters and their families. Because she doesn't have to be back at school in mid-August anymore, she'll be attending a family reunion in Michigan, where she will visit with her sisters and her cousins. Then she has plans to go to Salem, Massachusetts in October. And she has some small home improvement projects she'll be working on in between travel. Congratulations, Val.
And finally, it's my pleasure to recognize our 30-year veteran, Mr. Rusty Schmuck. Rusty has had the great pleasure of teaching 30 years, and all 30 of those years have been right here in our school district. His favorite memory of his time here in the district is seeing all the students from the past who have become successful adults and then having their children in his class as students. What he'll miss most when he retires, he says, for sure the students. They keep him young. And he said, I don't know how I'm going to learn to do things like Snapchat when I'm not in the classroom anymore, keeping up with the kids. And plans for his future, Mr. Schmuck said he's going to work in construction and enjoy his new travel trailer. Congratulations to Mr. Rusty Schmuck.
So before we depart, I want to make sure that on behalf of the Board of Education, I want to make sure I acknowledge all of the achievements, all of the accomplishments for either if you are currently employed with the district, especially some of the alums that have actually come back and given back to our kids, but more importantly, the retirees. I've been in education a long time, not long enough to retire, so I always say that I want to grow up to be just like you. But certainly, it doesn't happen without what you do day in and day out. And so we truly appreciate your commitment to our district and giving everything that you have given to us. And we hope that you enjoy your time off. A lot of traveling, I hear, grandkids, hoping for grandkids. But nonetheless, we truly appreciate your dedication and all that you've given to this district. And for all of the employees that are still here, we want you to be here so that we can see you walking across the stage as well. So thank you so much. We're going to, I saw a lot of clock watchers, so we're going to take a brief recess and then we will reconvene. Thank you. Convene. It is 8:40. Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Curtis?
Here.
Mr. Solera?
Here.
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Felber?
Here.
Mrs. Sturl-Waldron?
Here.
Okay, we're all here. Next on the agenda is committee reports. Do you have anyone reporting out on committees?
Yeah, just briefly, Finance Committee met on Monday the 15th. Continued discussions on revenue share agreements.
Okay.
And we did have an athletic and activities committee meeting yesterday, Tuesday, May 16th, and we did discuss some scheduling in the auditorium, internal versus external. So those are some things we're discussing. We also discussed booster clubs with both athletic as well as vocal music and band, and had some discussions as far as responsibilities financially. We talked about the instruments. We talked about athletic equipment, co-curricular uniforms. So we had conversations as to who financially is going to be responsible for different things. And then we also did review our handbook for athletics, went over that in great detail. There were some minor adjustments on that, and that will be published for the next coming school year for our athletic programs. And I believe that was everything.
Okay, and I was also at the committee meeting. I just wanted to thank the members of the booster organizations that were able to attend. I thought it was a very engaging meeting, and I thought it was useful for all individuals who were there to kind of exchange information and air concerns. Many concerns that were concerns were due to not understanding, what was going on the district side, things that the administration does, the athletic director, and the principals and all involved in athletics and activities, as well as maybe some conceptions or misconceptions about what wasn't being done on either side. And so I think that there was a lot of clarity that we were able to accomplish as a result of the meeting. In addition to that, establishing really a point forward to move forward in improving, activities, whether they be athletics or extracurriculars, putting some things in place that's going to allow us to build on, what we've managed to do thus far, and then move forward. So I just want to thank all that were able to attend the meeting, provide input. It was very helpful, useful, and so we appreciate it. Any other committee meetings? Okay. The only other update I would like to give with respect to the CVCC is last I spoke about CVCC, one of the things that I brought about was that Dr. Roebuck was going to be retiring, and we were in the process of conducting a superintendent search. So as a result of the process of the search, we are going to be interviewing 4 candidates after having kind of looked through a lot of people that applied for the superintendency. Over the next few days, we will be interviewing 4 candidates, and then as a result of those interviews, we'll probably be coming back to you and letting you know who our final 2 candidates are as we move forward. So just wanted to give you a brief update as to where that process is and how it's moving. Okay. There are no other committee reports. We'll move on to remonstrance. Mr. Aho, do we have any remonstrance? I didn't think so, but I always ask. Okay, so we'll move on to Treasurer's Report. J. J1, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the following meeting minutes. Regular meeting of May 3rd, 2017, as sent to the board under separate cover. Do I have a motion to approve J1?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Davis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Sturl-Waldron. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron,
Yes.
Mr. Felber,
Yes.
Mr. Solera,
Yes.
Mr. Curtis.
Yes. J1 passes 5-0. Moving on to action items, K1 and 2, without objections from my colleagues, I will read them together. K1, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the certificated, licensed personnel and/or contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background check. And 2, that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the classified personnel and/or contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background check. Do I have a motion to approve K1 and 2?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Felber. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Solera. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Aho, would you please call?
Mr. Curtis, if I could just interject at this point, I just wanted to mention that this evening I'm making recommendations for a number of administrative contract renewals. Mr. Holland, the principal at Dodge, Mrs. Huggins, the assistant principal at Dodge, Mr. King, the assistant principal at R.B. Chamberlain Middle School, Mrs. Mariola, the assistant principal at Dodge, Mr. Popovich, the assistant principal at Twinsburg High School, and Mrs. Chiringo, the principal at Twinsburg High School. In addition to that, Mrs. Abbott, who is our assistant transportation supervisor, Mr. Brunton, who is our transportation supervisor, and Brian Fantone, who is our athletic director, coordinator of K-12 student activities. I have to just tell the Board of Education what a fantastic group of individuals these administrators are. They make things happen every single day for our kids. Their management skills are phenomenal. They understand curriculum. They understand what it takes to be good teachers. And we have had a year of intense evaluations for all of these administrators. I'm very proud of the work that they do here every day. And our students are successful. We have such wonderful things to celebrate here in our district because of not only these administrators, but the administrative team. So I'm very proud to recommend each and every one of these for the renewal of their contracts before you this evening.
Thank you, and I couldn't agree more. So, any other comments?
Just appreciate having all of you here.
Thank you. Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Felber,
Yes.
Mr. Solera,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron,
Yes.
Mr. Curtis.
Yes. And K1 and 2 passes 5-0. Moving on to item I, and without objection from my colleagues, I will read I1 through 11 together. I1, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the donation from Ohio Pile Prince Incorporated, 410 Dinner Bell Road, Ohio Pile, PA 15470 to Twinsburg High School in the amount of $39.30. The donation from the sale of Twinsburg Peril and local Walgreens per the attached exhibit. 2, that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the donation from the Cleveland Clinic Office of Government and Community Relations, 25875 Science Park Drive, AC 121, Beechwood, Ohio 44122, totaling $300. 3, Twinsburg High School teachers Maggie Scherneck, Dan Lund, Sharon Masenko, each received a $100 gift card in recognition of student work submitted for the Cleveland Clinic Expressions Program. The awards will be used to purchase classroom supplies per the attached exhibit. 3, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the attached listing of media center items to be deleted from inventory per the attached exhibit. 4, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves a proposal for an overnight extended student trip for the Twinsburg High School track team to travel to the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio for the OHSAA State Track and Field Championships on Friday, June 2nd, 2017, and returning on Saturday, June 3rd, 2017. The cost of this trip will be paid for by the athletic department budget with support from the Twinsburg Athletic Boosters as sent to the board under separate cover. Excuse me. 5, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves a service agreement between the Twinsburg City School District and PSI Affiliates Incorporated, PSI Associates Incorporated for nursing services, RN and LPN, medical assisting services, and health aid services for the 2017-18 school year, the 2018-19 school year, and the 2019-2020 school years, as sent to the board under separate cover. 6, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the proposed 2017-2018 school breakfast and lunch prices as stated below. 7, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the 2017-2018 student parent handbook for the Twinsburg High School, R.B. Chamberlain Middle School, George G. Dodge Intermediate School, Samuel Bissell Elementary School, Wilcox Primary School, and the District Athletic Handbook as sent to the board under separate cover. 8, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the lease agreement with the Village of Reminderville to utilize yellow bus services for summer 2017. The Village of Reminderville will compensate the Twinsburg Board of Education for the use of the buses, including mileage, gas, and bus drivers, per the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement sent to the board under separate cover. 9, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the gymnastics facility use agreement with Gym World of Twinsburg, 9085 Dutton Drive, Twinsburg, Ohio, 44087, for the use of the gymnastics facility for the Twinsburg High School gymnastics team from November 1st, 2017 through March 1st, 2018, per the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement sent to the board under separate cover. 10, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the ice rink facility use agreement with the City of Garfield Heights, Ohio, a municipal corporation care of Dan Costal Recreation Center, 5411 Turney Road in Garfield Heights, Ohio, for the use of the ice rink and facility for the Twinsburg High School hockey team from September 11th, 2017 through February 16th, 2018, per the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement sent to the board under separate cover. And 11, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves in lieu of transportation payment in the amount of $250 per student for 145 students for the 2016-2017 school year per the Ohio Department of Education for the following students that are listed below. Do I have a motion to approve I-1 through 11?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Solera. Do I have a second?
Second.
Excuse me, second by Mr. Felber. I first would like to thank Ohio Pile Prince for their donation, as well as the Cleveland Clinic for their donation of $300. As always, we appreciate donations, and we hope to make good use of the donations that have been made. Any other comments?
Yeah, I would like to just acknowledge the work of the district dietitian, Mr. Bindis, and what him and his staff do to allow us to keep the prices the same. You know, prices keep going up on everything, and they do an amazing job finding deals and still being able to meet federal regulations as well as serve nutritious meals. So I think that's nice to be able to keep that same for next year.
Any other comments? Hearing none, Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Solera?
Yes.
Mr. Felber?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron?
Yes.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes. That item passes 5-0. Next, I-12 and 13, without objection from my colleagues, I will read those two together. 12, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves an agreement with Garland DBS Incorporated, 3800 East 91st Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105 for the summer 2017, excuse me, Twinsburg City School District roof replacement project at R.B. Chamberlain Middle School, Wilcox Primary School, and Twinsburg High School through the U.S. Communities Purchasing Consortium per the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement and at a cost not to exceed $172,957. This is a permanent improvement expense. And 13, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves an agreement for the 2017-18 school year with Garland DBS Incorporated, 3800 East 91st Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105, in the amount not to exceed $16,987 for preventative maintenance on roofing system components at Twinsburg High School, R.B. Chamberlain Middle School, George G. Dodge Intermediate School, Samuel Bissell Elementary School, Wilcox Primary School, and the Administration Building. This agreement is through the U.S. Communities Purchasing Consortium, and this expense will be paid for with permanent improvement funds. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Solera. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Davis. Any comments or discussion?
Just real quick again, I know he's not here tonight, but special thanks to Mr. Welker. These contracts are very well negotiated, as well as item 13, the preventative maintenance agreement, is a tremendous opportunity for us to extend the life of our roofs at a very nominal cost to us, and it's something that we've been doing this now, Mrs. Powers, a
Couple years
3
now.
years,
Yes,
yeah.
this was the second year.
And we've noticed the savings and the minimizing on the actual major repairs in doing this. So again, it's just another way that we're trying to stretch the dollars as much as we can, and I appreciate Mr. Welker's work on this.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Solera?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Felber?
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron?
Yes.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes. And that item passes 5-0. M, miscellaneous. Do we have any items for miscellaneous?
I just did briefly wanted to really acknowledge the staff and Miss Houston for the senior symposium. I also had the pleasure of having another shadow, probably my fifth one, and just amazing students, and hearing all the presentations, and the fact that the numbers of seniors have increased tremendously. I think we were over 120-some students, seniors, that did a senior experience, and it was just amazing to hear everything from shadowing neurosurgeons, and I didn't know half the words at some of these presentations, but just an amazing group of students that we're sending out into the world on Tuesday. So congratulations to all those that have continued to grow the participation in that very valuable program.
Yes, and I just also wanted to thank all of I know our retirees have already left, but thank you for the years of commitment and all the positive impacts you've made on our staff, our students, and our community. We will definitely miss you, and we appreciate everything you've done. And then I also wanted to thank the administrators that we just passed tonight. All of you make such a great impact. I'm fortunate enough to have 3 children in the school district, and I can tell you that each and every one of you has made an impact on my children. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do. You really are well deserving of these contracts, and as a mom and as a Board of Education member, you are so appreciated. Thank you.
And thank you for hanging in there with the busy weeks. May is always very, very crazy with kids traveling to camp in Greenfield and DC and all the music and choir and art shows and everything. I know it's a lot of time, a lot of work, and I thank you for hanging in there and sticking with our kids.
Well, I couldn't agree more. All that you do, one of the things that I failed to mention when I was giving my thanks to the Blue Ribbon Committee, especially the folks that had subcommittees, is that you truly did then and do now go above and beyond, because that's well beyond the school day. There were some nights we were meeting for really late, and if you were out there handing out pamphlets and literature on all of our evening events, this is all your, supposedly should be your free time, and to the extent that you committed and extended the time to make sure that we were able to be successful, I truly appreciate that. And obviously for what you do every day, I think it goes without saying, but I will always say thank you.
Just real quick, at the last meeting we agreed to some fees for 2017, 2018, and I don't really want to get into a debate on this tonight. I just wanted to kind of pass along some information in relation to the history of what we've done with these fees. I spent the past couple weeks since the last meeting kind of going over the fees since their inception, both on our academic fees as well as pay to participate for our sports fees. Some very interesting information and data there. I won't run through it all tonight. If anybody has any questions, I've got a few spreadsheets I'd be more than happy to pass along. But one of the things that I found very interesting in terms of our academic fees, we have currently 50 different academic fees for various subjects, classes, lab fees, things like that. And since their inception in 2012-2013 year, the average change, so if we were to group all of them together, was 55 cents for each individual one. Out of the 50 academic fees, 30 of them are less than the inception, less than they were when they began, or the same. And the others are very nominal increases. So I think it's important. A lot of work goes into those. There are reasons behind it. We are not the only district that does it. In fact, most districts are charging academic fees, even if they're not charging pay to participate fees. As well as our pay to participate fees, 53 total activities with that. And amongst those, 23 are less than when they began, or the same. So again, we're holding costs as well as we can as our teams become more competitive and venturing out to different tournaments and things like that. Some of those costs increase, and there's a reason as why some of them have increased. So I just wanted to put it out there. Like I said, I don't want to get into a long presentation this evening about it, but I want to ensure that we've got good information. That's why I wanted to spend the time going over it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to get a hold of myself, and can get that information. It's all accessible on the district's website, and past meetings and agendas. I just spent some time putting it together to kind of help get my eyes wrapped around it. I've been involved with it for a while now, and I thought it was eye-opening to see that we're actually, for the majority of our events and our fees, have kept them the same or less. So that goes to the administration, to the coaches, to the athletic director, who's continuing to monitor costs and realize that we need to kind of toe the line and keep costs down so that we're able to have some good participation in these. So thank you.
Thank you. I guess I'll close out by providing a little bit more context and information with respect to my visit to Columbus this morning. I was able to travel to Columbus this morning and provide proponent testimony to the House Government Accountability and Oversight Committee. And this was in support of House Bill 87. So as I mentioned earlier in my president's report, the primary purpose of the bill is to make sure that monies that are taken from charter schools as a result of any kind of finding, that those monies are returned to the districts of origin instead of the state's general fund, which is the current practice. So I had the privilege of going down and testifying before the committee. I was the last person on the list. So I had to wait for everybody to go before me and watch them grill every other person that testified with questions. So I get up and I'm prepared to do my thing, and I read my statement, and I ask the chairman or members of the committee if they have any questions. There were no questions. So this will be the second time during proponent testimony, or at least sponsor testimony, which was the first time I was able to go down and watch Representative Rogner present. There were no questions at that time, and so now the second hearing, which is what we've been pushing for, we were able to get a second hearing, and I provided sponsor testimony. Written testimony was also submitted by the OEA, And I'm told I've been in contact with the Ohio School Boards Association, and they have indicated to me that they will be also submitting written testimony, as well as the Ohio Association of Business Officials, OASBO, will be submitting written testimony, as well as BASA, the Buckeye Association of School Administrators. So the bill is moving through the process. I was able to meet with Representative Rogner after I provided testimony to determine what next steps are. And so next steps are a third hearing, and once that happens, we are hopeful that that happens before they adjourn for a summer recess. Once they come back for fall, we're hoping that it moves over to the Senate, and it will go through the very same process in the Senate. I'm told that I will be asked again to come and present testimony in the Senate, to which I will happily oblige, and the process moves on. So the reason I explain that is because I think at our last meeting, our superintendent explained the arduous, long process of the budget. And fortunately, the budget's process is shorter than the process that this bill is, that this bill is going through. But nonetheless, it's a lot of work, a lot of commitment on behalf of a lot of people. And again, it hasn't changed that it is bipartisan support, which we hope that continues and stays the same. Currently, the bill and the language that is in the bill has remained the same, which is one of my goals as well. So we hope that stays the same. And so we'll keep on keeping on, as I've committed to doing, not only during my president's reports, but I want to make sure that the community is kept informed and kept abreast of what's happening down in the State House as it relates to not only this legislation, but other things related to the bill. So I wanted to make sure that I provided an update as to what is going on and what's happening, and I'm hopeful that it'll continue throughout the process and eventually become law.
I wanted to thank Mr. Curtis for the extra effort. I'm probably not the only one up here that's hearing, I'm just a lonely old Bill, sitting on Capitol Hill. But it is going to be law someday,
Yeah.
and maybe I'll have to come down and watch you testify and slip some questions in so you get some tough questions. But it's been a long haul, and we appreciate those extra efforts that you're doing on behalf of our district and the districts around the state.
Appreciate that. I know.
Yes. And I wanted to thank you as well for advocating for our children, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I know every inch of I-71 now. So that being said, any other comments or miscellaneous? We're watching the clock. We're on to
We're
adjournment.
watching the clock. You're
I'll
not
make a
watching the
motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Turl Waldron. Mr. Aho, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Felbert?
Yes.
Mr. Solera?
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
26.